Hello, this is AnlineOffline. Welcome to a mid-season review for COD Mobile 2026. Today we'll cover the Season 7 patch notes along with other news. The Battle 27 from Modern Warfare 3 2023 got a nerf to its second and third range values. I didn't expect it to catch a nerf so soon, however it's still effective if you build for range. If they really wanted to nerf its effectiveness from afar, they only needed to drop its final range by 1 or 2 points. The SO14 from Modern Warfare 2 2022 received a brutal nerf to its range and headshot multiplier, such that it's now less than the M1 Garand. Its base range was reduced by 1/3. If you're still interested in using semi-auto, maxing out range is now a must. That is, unless you want to be quirky and hipfire with overkill. Wildfire now comes with an 80% range boost. When you adjust for the nerf to base ranges, then it's technically a buff over the original. However, the devs forgot to show it in the stats page. The ISO from Modern Warfare 2019 got some hopeful buffs. The second range was extended by a couple of meters. The third range got a damage buff. Sure, it's only 1 point, so there's no change for a faster potential time to kill. But your expected time to kill is much better because leg shots are far less punishing. Previously, 2 leg shots were enough to drop it to a 7-shot kill. Now you need up to 5 to fumble. Not that you have to worry about that anymore because the Nightshade Integral Suppressor guarantees base damage to the legs. Thus the ISO joins the likes of the Switchblade and base QQ9. Though it does trade potential range for more ammo. The KN-44 from Black Ops 3 got a buff to its horizontal recoil. The initial recoil was already simple enough to handle, now it's easier to mag dump with. Our original M4, that has not been replaced yet, got a series of buffs. Unlike the ISO, the extra damage in its third range doesn't change anything. The same is also true for its new chest multiplier. The bloom is an improvement. Instead of being average overall, it's fairly average for an assault rifle. Honestly, the biggest improvement is to its Ranger barrel. One of the biggest flaws of the M4 is that its barrels and magazines punish movement far more than it does for other weapons for no reason. The M16 got a couple of buffs to attachments. Wildfire now helps with movement. The strike stock now helps with vertical recoil, and the tactical foregrip horizontal. Vanguard's BP50 had 2 of its best attachments buffed. The rapid barrel now increases its stomach multiplier by 10%. This was transferred from its 7.62 rimmed ammo conversion. In its place is a buff to its range boost, from 20% more to 40%. So is the BP50 back to its prime? Not even close. But for what it's worth, combining both gives you a niche but solid mid-range weapon. That is if you build around its bloom and mag size. 2019's Ground got a buff to its first 2 ranges, so you can foreshot a little further. Like the M4, it will now have average AR bloom. Barring its first year, the HVK-30 from Black Ops 3 has always been one of the most dangerous weapons to go up against in this game, all thanks to its large caliber mag. The new forearm multipliers allow for improved odds of extending its 3-shot potential without needing headshots. The bigger takeaway is that this mag now holds 30 rounds like other ARs in base. The Vargo S from Vanguard got a couple of buffs. Like the M4, the new chest multiplier doesn't change much. One of the biggest issues with the Vargo was its base bullet speed, which has been buffed to a more effective 880 meters per second. In addition, the 60-round 7.62 rimmed drums no longer penalize bullet speed. The ICR-1 from Black Ops 3 got a slight damage buff in its first range, but its 3-shot potential is far more reliable, more so if you combine the Integral Suppressor and Macro Mag. But the ICR is still not as efficient in close quarters as SMGs that have the same fire rate. The Macro Mag is not as harsh to your mobility now, so you can get an ADS time that's workable. 2019's SKS got 2 noteworthy buffs. The base ADS time was slightly improved, so it's not as punishing to forego attachments for it. In fact, I now prefer to build for flinch. Fire rate was increased from 364 rounds per minute to 380. basically equal to the Type 63 and its strike team barrel. With the SO14 nerfed, the SKS and Type 63 may have reclaimed their thrones as the best general-purpose semi-autos. The HS2 or R version of Black Ops 2's M1216 burst shotgun got a rework. The burst fire rate was increased from 469 rounds per minute to 500. However, its burst delay was increased by 1 frame to 400 milliseconds. Ultimately, the HS2 was hurt more than it received help. Fire rate for burst weapons is nowhere near as important as burst delays, and making it slower only makes follow-up shots more punishing. Plus, an extra meter of range doesn't matter when values are so small that boosting doesn't amount to much. Vanguard's DP27 got 2 buffs to bullet speed. The base is no longer SMG level. The 105 round pan mags now provide a 10% boost, so it's now more useful at range. The SMRS from COD Online or AT4 launcher got a handful of buffs. Swap times were allegedly buffed, but this only applied to the raise time, not drop time, so they're no longer the same. The ADS time is now equal to the FHJ. The blast damage and range was vaguely buffed. The max damage is still the same. If we use the values from my demo expert video, its max blast radius was slightly buffed, from 2.4 meters to 2.5, but its lethal radius got a glow up, from 1.8 meters to 2.1. If we apply the area formula, if someone is randomly standing anywhere inside that circle, their odds of dying jump from 56% to 71%. This is much better than how it was with Demo Expert previously. Speaking of which, with Demo Expert, the SMRs will now kill within 2.4 meters, or a 92% chance of death. The last weapon change is to the nail gun from Cold War. The range profile was extended by a couple of meters. Bullet speed is still slow though. More importantly, it no longer deals reduced damage to the legs. Previously, just 1 leg shot was enough to fumble your 3-shot kill. Now it's quite safe to hipfire with. Not bad for a joke weapon with no attachments. For wildcards, I'm not sure why Skill Overdrive got buffed. Now you don't have to charge as much to use your operator skills, and you don't lose as much of said charge when dying. There was also a bug fix for swap times with Overkill. For operator skills, Firebreak's Purifier now passively charges about 20 seconds faster. Ruin's Gravity Spikes now charges 10 seconds faster. For streaks, the Napalm lasts 2 seconds longer, which is a bit annoying for capturing OBJs. The Chopper Gunner is now 1 kill cheaper to earn. What's funny is that the cost with killstreak support was unchanged, thus it's technically more expensive than without that wildcard. I didn't have any previous stats on the strafe run, so I can't specify how much its blast radius was buffed. For throwables, the drill charge got a buff to its drill and detonation time. Instead of 2 seconds to drill through a wall, it's now 1.5. Instead of 1 second before blowing up, it's about 0.8. On a separate note, I finally got around to double checking the stats on the drill charge. Feel free to pause. The Flash Strike got a buff to its drill time. It was already fast at 1 second, but is now even shorter at about 0.8. Since the flash goes off immediately after drilling, there's no way to buff that. So, what are my thoughts on this season's patch notes? If last season was mostly a nothing burger besides the Chai-Com and 1911s, then this season is a proper meal. The biggest loser this season is obviously the SO14. Semi-auto was destroyed, but the devs' favoritism for full auto has never been more apparent. The biggest winner this season is easily the ISO. Previously, it was an okay SMG with some quirky niches in maxing movement or range. Now it's at least one of the better aggressive SMGs. Honorable mentions for most improved are a dime a dozen. The HVK is truly not bound by its main limitation anymore. The ICR is the best AR to camp with on slower-paced game modes or long-range maps, and has new solid coverage for close range. If I were to guess, they're plotting something with that next mythic. After 2 years, the SKS is once again in contention for Best Semi-Auto. The BP50 has found purpose again instead of being forgotten about. Though the SMRS and Nailgun still aren't great for competitiveness, but aren't the most miserable things to use in casuals anymore. Unlocked at level 21 in the Battle Pass, or earlier through arcade challenges, the new AR this season is the Cronen Squall from Modern Warfare 2 2022. It's based on the RM277 by Lone Star that competed in the NGSW rifle program. In 2022, it was properly under the battle rifle category, which we don't have. A couple of months ago, it was rumored that a battle rifle class could be added and some guns would be recategorized. However, that might have been scrapped since Infinity Ward axed it for this year's game. So, is the Cronen any good in mobile? Absolutely not. I thought the FSS Hurricane was a disappointment at first, but at least you could say that it has its quirks.
That's really dumb. But he's so cool! But that's so dumb!
But the Cronen, I'm at a loss for words. Full Auto has a good 4-shot range, but I'd rather use any other AR. Semi-Auto is technically better in every way, but pales in comparison to the Garand. Just the other day I made a poll whether you guys wanted to see the Cronen or Switchblade next. And I have to admit, those weren't the best hand-picked candidates, but democracy demands I suffer. In hindsight, I should have waited until Modern Warfare 4. God Mobile likes to mess with me and change things whenever I cover a new gun, so I guess it would be for the greater good. As for the Switchblade, it's already the Sweatlord SMG for aggro. I wouldn't be able to bring anything new to the table, and I already ran out of things to say about the P90 4 years ago. So that's gonna keep collecting dust. Unlocked at level 14 in the Battle Pass, Shockstick is the new class for VR. Within about 3.4 meters, players have their movement speed slowed down and are forced to hip fire. It lasts for 10 seconds and deals a maximum of 48 damage. You can also throw it surprisingly far. I guess there is a new playlist, but it's no good. Lockdown is like Hardpoint on Rebirth Island, but that map isn't very optimized. If anything, corralling all those bots in the same area is actually worse for lag. The new map this season is Nuketown from Black Ops 6. As it turns out, it's not a replacement, but rather yet another version in rotation. It looks nice, however it might need some optimization, because I can't record gameplay of it without losing frames. It might not seem that way in the video, but I can assure you my hands were warm. My other gripe is that the new mantle glitches make this version of Nuketown the most one-sided. Hijacked is the most recent map to get a makeover. Now it's partly cloudy outside, and the indoor areas are much darker, especially below deck. There's a new ban system for people who AFK. If someone is continuously inactive for 30 seconds, they'll get kicked out of the match. If they keep doing it for a total of 90 seconds, they're automatically signed out of their count. In the secret cache, the melted amethyst camo has been replaced with wildfire, basically trading a better ether crystal for a worse power nova. Next season, the free legendary bison will be replaced. By what? No one knows yet. Whatever it may be, it's been confirmed that there are no plans to add character skins to the secret cache. There's also plans to once again raise the max player levels to 450 instead of a prestige system. Just a disclaimer, this one's a headache. Who knew that COD Mobile's great 2026 controversy was not the introduction of seasonal wipes for DMZ, but rather the distribution of free LCP? And no, we already touched on the Epstein files earlier this year. LCP or limited COD points are a temporary in-game currency that can be used in place of regular COD points for most purchases. It was believed that everyone would get the full 3,500 LCP spaced out over the course of 5 weeks. As it turns out, if you're playing on the global version of the game, the amount you get actually depends on where you live. And a lot of people are very mad, even though everything evens out if you adjust for regional pricing. For example, I live in the US, I'm getting 3500 LCP, and that's the equivalent of $38 in microtransactions. That might sound a lot to someone outside of the US, but that's nowhere near completing a lucky draw, which is about 150. No one is. This whole situation is dumb and blown out of proportion. And before anyone new to this channel wants to call me a shill, I criticize Activision regularly. This video included. I'm not bartered, I'm not sponsored, I'm definitely not getting monetized, especially with those new requirements next year. But compared to 2024, when they region-locked a game mode and camo progression while drip-feeding content to draw attention to Warzone Mobile, this whole controversy is a nothing burger. You have entitled children using ChatGPT to quote the FTC, even though I highly doubt they live in the US, and demanding compensation when nothing has been lost. Everyone in Global is getting an equivalent amount, for free. The real outliers are Garena and China, who are getting more free legendaries. But their preferential treatment is nothing new, and that's not necessarily Activision's fault. The onus is on Tencent for playing favorites. We can give Activision flack for a lot of things, including false advertisement. But not this. If you ask me, I blame the COD cycle. It's just that time of the year again where everyone has nothing better to do than to anxiously wait for COD Next, the anniversary, and see if this year's Call of Duty has anything to offer us. As for what I'll do with this temporary currency, I think I'm gonna blow it all on this season's main collab, Terminator 2. Giving people a taste of what it's like to spend money on the game so that they crave more? I see what you're doing, COD Mobile, but I'm not gonna cave that easy, or get lucky. I will give them credit for designing an 1887 blueprint for the HSO, though it is quite dubious that they gave it entirely unique animations for one-handed shooting and reloading 2 shells in quick succession. On a dissonant note, they just blatantly AI-generated an ad for a Garena event, while there's an ongoing collab with a franchise dedicated to the dangers of AI. It wouldn't be the first time they cheaped out on designing calling cards either. The other smaller collab is something no one saw coming. Mr. Beast. He got his own sponsored ad and a calling card. I understand that he has the most subscribers, mostly has an audience of impressionable children, and at some point was a COD YouTuber. But could you not have picked a guy with a less controversial reputation? I'm just saying, if he wanted to rent out a prison island like Alcatraz and host an actual battle royale, he could. Remember last year when the official COD Mobile YouTube hinted at a potential collab with Resident Evil? Well, there's a chance that could still happen this year, along with Cyberpunk. No guarantees yet. Another unexpected crossover for next season is with Honkai Impact. Tencent and MiHoYo working together? Gacha players are bewildered. I mean, I guess there was Fortnite, but there's a difference between owning shares of Epic and actually developing a game. Also, MiHoYo is reportedly working on a realistic shooter. In light of gacha collabs is the return of Girls Frontline, one of the better events since they actually give you something to do that's single player with some replay value. But that's just my opinion. As of the making this video, I don't know if I have high hopes for COD Next. These episodes of Inside COD Mobile aren't much. At 8,000 watch hours, that's a little demoralizing. On the bright side, I finally got my associate's degree. With the new fall semester, I can't guarantee consistent uploads. The next video is on the Cronen since it seems trendy to dunk on it. Till then, my name is On, and I'm off.